what did you hope when you're performing? What did you hope that audiences feel or take away? Or, you know, like when you're performing, it's almost like you're transferring an energy, or you're transferring something. What is it you hope that they what they get from you?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. Sometimes when I teach, I say to them, what is it you want to tell the audience? Especially that belly dancing, or not, I don't teach belly dancing, but at least a dance that has the core. Your core is the one that's moving, your pelvis. This area of the body that moves. There's a very thin line between vulgarity and finesse. You break that line, you cross it so easy, all right? So the first thing you have to tell yourself, that's what I tell them, what do you want to say to your audience? Since you're just dancing, you're not telling a story or anything, so you're just playing, dancing, there is something, a message that you have to have inside you to tell it to the people. Are you going to go to the people and say, look at me, how beautiful I am? The movement is going to take that. Look at me, how sexy I am. That's going to say another thing. But if you say to yourself, I am translating this beautiful music, I'm enjoying myself, look how happy I am. Share with me the joy of this music. Look at the movements I have chosen to interpret this beautiful piece of music. There is a difference. If you have it inside you, you can say it. If you're blank, like most of the recitals with this girl after girl after girl, there's a blank. She's just performing and she doesn't even have a connection with the music. So I think that I am when I dance alone, I am personifying the music, right? But with the Reda troupe, it's like, look at us, we're all happy, we're dancing this dance, we're all happy. The first thing we were told by a foreign critic in the 60s was, oh my God, we weren't clever, we weren't sophisticated, it was simple. But the first thing he said, you look as if you're enjoying yourself so much. And this enjoyment goes to the audience. Understand? So it's a feedback and it's what you're telling the audience. That's the most important thing.
When creating a show or a choreography, I know in the Reda troupe, you're the principal dancer, it's Reda creating the choreography. So I guess I'm asking your participation in the creative process.
It seems to be, don't worry about me. It seems to be that with me and Mahmoud, we were soulmates. And for some reason, I knew what he wanted. So I could always, because he's a man, I could always do what he wanted and what he meant. You see, wanting and meaning the movement. Because when he showed it to me, he was a man dancing. And I could take it from him and don't change it, but it comes out from inside and comes out of me as a. So I was like his, I don't know if I can use this word, I'm like his muse. Because for some reason we were so well understanding. I understood everything he wanted me to do.
And did you, this is not the question, but did you ever have an inclination for yourself to choreograph? You must have choreographed.
When I was performing, the most important thing is I trusted Mahmoud and I felt very comfortable with his movements for me. If during the 25 years I ever felt that, oh no, he's not doing what I want to do, I would have probably, interfered. But for some reason, everything he told me to do, because when I'm with him and he's showing me, I'm moving also. So he said, it's not that I'm sharing the choreography, don't misunderstand me. I'm very, I was raised to be very specific and very disciplined. My father and mother disciplined me. They gave me a lot of freedom in my thoughts and in sports and in life, but I was very disciplined, and the accuracy and the discipline is very important. So do Mahmoud's, what he wanted me to, blindfolded, because there was a comfort and a trust and something that just didn't annoy me when I was doing it.
Mm-hmm. And for you, this completely fulfilled your creativity?
It did at the time, yeah. Mm-hmm. But after that, when I left, I started feeling that no, why? I can create, I can move further.
Mm-hmm. With your own.
Oh yeah. Because I have a very well base, a very strong base of Mahmoud Reda. Mm-hmm. Not only Mahmoud Reda, because I was inspiring him also at the time. Mm-hmm. When I stand and I move and he wants me to do something, say no, okay, don't do this. Why don't you turn? Okay, so I turn. I've seen Mahmoud many times having to, poor man really, because we were always having problem with the dancers. They leave and we have to get new dancers and they leave, and we were like a factory of dancers. Sometimes they couldn't do what he wanted, and so I could see him retrograding. All right, don't do that. Just do that. I saw it many times, and that was, it's in Europe or anywhere in the world, when you ask for dancers, they come already dancing. Mm-hmm. But in Egypt, you have to teach them how to dance. It's like, for instance, I go to China, to the university in China. I have to learn Chinese before I can talk. So there's this period where the dancers have to come to learn how we dance and then start to learn the choreography. You understand? And with time and with the difficulties of the government and the bureaucracy and the salaries being, what do you say, petrified? Not petrified, frozen. And stuff like that, and with the open door policy, and then they started opening hotels, and the life was changing, and anyone would go and dance at night in a hotel, 2 boys or 2 girls, and 1 boy, or 2 boys and 3 girls, or whatever. They would make a lot of money, and they would be undisciplined and uncouth and unpolished, and the whole list of uns. So at the time when he was having dancers, and I would see him say, okay, never mind, just do this. And that's the worst thing a choreographer can have, not being able to use his instruments. Yeah. It's like a painter with bad brushes. Yeah. So you want to make a beautiful stroke, and you can't, so you have another brush and you make a small stroke.
And when the dancers do get trained, they're good enough, then you lose them.
Yeah, in the last period, they weren't even good enough. We were losing them. Mm-hmm. Because of the nightclubs and the hotels and traveling and going to the Gulf, and the whole thing became a little bit murky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants a piece of the action. Yeah.
And remember, in Egypt, plagiarism is a little bit loose, and especially in choreographers, because they don't have in the law that part of the choreography. Mm-hmm. So if let's say I take your choreography and dance it, you can't. Who are you going to go and say it's my choreography? They don't know one step from, doesn't. So the worst thing was when they took Mahmoud's dances and mucked around with it, and played around it and ruined it.
You mean after he retired?
No. Oh. During the Reda tour.
Really?
They would take the music and take the movements and dance in a nightclub.
Oh.
And what could you say? What could you do?
This made him very upset, I guess.
I don't think very much. It's like he gave up in the end. But I don't give up. I say.
Good.
Yeah, and now when they go to teach abroad, the stupid people here, they step from here and step from here and music from here. And, it's all like mashing up and messing up and patching up steps from here and here.
Or they call it fusion, but...
No, and I mean Egyptian.
Yeah,
dance.
even still, yeah.
Fusion, some fusion is beautiful,
Yeah,
actually.
oh, I know. What could you say, are there any steps that is your contribution, your personal, not necessarily through Mahmoud, although we can talk about that too, but your contribution to the history of the repertoire that is now part of this art form that's passed on, that came from you?
No, I didn't do any choreographs.
But even when you're working with Mahmoud, you didn't create some movement from your body that's like, oh, that's nice, and it came out of you.
Yeah, there were some parts where he would let me, like, there was sometimes things I would put extra or not extra. He would say, when you go here, figure eight. So my figure eights would be like, okay, figure eight and the something and the sun, as long as it.
So you embellished.
Huh?
You embellished.
Yeah, little parts where I was allowed to. It's very much like how can I say? Yeah, it's like singing. It's like a little bit like when tagweed, it's called tagweed, when a singer, like let's say, please, I'm not comparing myself, but let's say Kulthum, she's saying a verse, and she says it one way with a little change, and then she says it the second time with her own little change, and it's not the same one in the next performance, in the next part, in the next hafla, all right? So maybe you can say things like that. Mm-hmm. But the framework is the same, strict, disciplined, very disciplined.